Hi guys, so good evening and welcome back to my magical world. It's me, Frostbite Goddess, your favorite celebrity here in the Philippines. It's Thursday today, September 11, 2025, and it's 22:39 in the evening. Okay, so you know that we are living in a fast-paced world, and as we speak, there are a lot of things that are happening simultaneously. So I don't know if you're aware of the news. There's a lot of distractions, like literal distractions, and the one that this distraction, which is being destroyed. So I hope you are all safe. I mean, all my viewers, all of you who are watching me or tuning in my channel. So please be safe, guys. Please take care of yourself. Like, there are things that are meant to happen anyways. We can't really stop it, because we are being what do you call this, pre-programmed of the things. So really guys, you have to be really mindful and conscious of what you are watching, because you are feeding it. You are feeding something you might not realize that is not good for you, okay? Or might not good for you and for the many, okay? For the masses. So you really have to be aware of the things that you are being fed on. Whatever you watch and whatever you hear, you must really see to it that it is not detrimental for your well-being. Okay, we are going to read pages 300 and 301. Try natin matapos to, guys. So suddenly during this trip, he saw an entirely different side to them. While he was stomping and whacking his way through the brush, they seemed to glide through the thick jungle. Without being touched by a single branch, he was not able to keep up with them, and so he stopped and rested. In the distance, he could hear strange sounds. The Piraha men were clearly speaking to one another, but their words were somehow transposed into whistles. He realized that in the jungle they used this different form of communication, one that would not stand out from the jungle hum. It was a marvelous way to talk without attracting attention, and must have been a great help in hunting. Now he joined them on subsequent forays into the jungle, and his respect for them increased. They could hear and see things he could not perceive at all. Dangerous animals, signs of something different or suspicious. Occasionally, it would rain when it was not the rainy season. Ba yan? And in the jungle, they had a sixth sense for the weather and knew when a heavy rain was coming hours before it arrived. They could identify every plant and its possible medicinal purposes, and knew every square inch of the jungle. If they saw bubbles or ripples in the river, they could instantly tell whether the movement was from a falling rock or from some dangerous animal lurking below the surface. They had a mastery of their environment that he could not sense by seeing them in the village. And as he became aware of this, he began to understand that their life and culture, which at first glance had seemed rather poor according to our standards, was actually something remarkably rich. Over the course of hundreds of years, they had adapted a way of life that was perfectly wedded to the harsh circumstances of their environment. Now, as he looked back on the same incidents that had troubled him before, he could see them in a new light. Living so closely to death on a daily basis, they had developed a rather stoic attitude. They could not afford to waste time or energy on morning rituals or on too much empathy. They could sense when someone was going to die, and being certain that the infant the Everett had wait lang had tried to nurse was doomed. They thought it was easier and better to hasten its death and not look back. The village men who had thought of killing him had heard that he did not like their drinking. They feared that he was yet another outsider who was going to impose his values and authority on them. They had their reasons for being as they did, but only when time could he see them clearly. He extended his participation in their lives to other aspects: hunting and fishing, excursions, gathering roots and vegetables in the fields, and so on. He and his family would share meals with them and interacted with them as much as possible. And in this way, he slowly immersed himself in the Piraha culture. Although it was not immediately apparent, these also initiated a change in his learning of the language itself. It started to come more naturally, less from the tireless work of a field research and more from within. From simply living inside their culture, he began to think like a Piraha, to foresee their reactions to what some visiting Westerner would ask of them. He got inside their sense of humor and the kinds of stories they like to relate around the campfire. Okay, so yun na lang muna guys. Isang page na lang muna kasi I have to reserve my energy for other things. Ayan. So basta guys, iwasan niyo lang magpadala into a lot of fear kasi some things are really meant to happen. And, di ba, tinatry nila yung to try to be woke. You know what I'm saying, yung the spiritual stuff. But what I'm just going to remind you that not everything is meant to be awakened. Okay? So, huwag na nyo nang i-push masyado kasi the right people always understand you and will hear you correctly or will perceive you the correct way, and some people just won't because they are meant to be rock. Palamuti lang. So ganun guys, do not be consumed so much of this noise, of the external noise and the noise of the media, like all of the platforms. Okay, so I want to thank you guys for listening in my channel, for always tuning in, and syempre it's good if you can subscribe. Okay, I'm gonna see you again.